I'm just going to jump straight into it. Do many of you know what a testimony is? Okay, well, testimony is, if you don't, it's a reoccurrence of experience, an occurrence, either religious or something that brought you to a certain place of where you are in your life. So I'm just going to give a little bit about me. First, again, my name is Eric Hunter. Not from California originally, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. I am a case manager at Tarzana Treatment Center, also a health advocate, outreach. It's a lot going on in our personal lives, our family, in this world. There is hope. So I'm hoping today that someone will be touched just by the words that are coming out of my mouth about what I went through. And again, it's not about me, it's about what God did in my life, okay? A little bit about me. Started off, I heard God's voice at a very young age, at 5 years old. 5 years old, I was living in St. Louis, living on the street, and how I heard God's voice is that I had a fight. I had a fight in my own house with my next door neighbor, and the first thing that popped in my mind is that, okay, this dude is beating me up. So I wanted to run and get a knife and stab him, literally. And I heard something in my head, and it was audible, and it said, "Do not do this." I looked up to the sky, and at 5 years old, I didn't know what was going on. And I said, and this is the words that came out of my mouth: "God, what do you mean don't doing this? He's kicking my butt." The guy who I was fighting literally looked at me, thought I was crazy, and ran away. No more fight. Okay? That was my first account of hearing God's voice. As the years go on, I'm a dreamer. I have dreams about everything that I see. A lot of things I see, I have a lot of dreams. And I believe at that time that was God speaking to me. Good dreams, bad dreams, and a lot of my dreams actually come true. So fast forward, it came to a time where I was in high school, and I had just, actually in the 8th grade, me and my dad, we had a pretty good relationship. My dad was my football coach, my baseball coach, everything. So one day, I went to work with my dad, and I picked up the phone, and I heard my dad talking to a woman. And I heard him talking about going to this woman's house and what they're going to do. So obviously my dad was cheating on my mom. That's something I experienced at age 13. I was in the 8th grade. That crushed me. That crushed my life. Went through the divorce process and all of that. Back then in the day, the kid had to go to court. You had to tell who you wanted to live with. So I told the judge I wanted to live with my mom. So going through all of that, me and my dad's relationship was severed. Totally. I hated my dad. And I don't like to use the word hate, but at that time, that's what it was. It was totally hate. After hating my dad for years and years and years, it came to a point where I didn't even want to see him anymore. He would have me on the weekends. It came to a point I just refused all of that. Where's God in all of this? It came to a point also where I started having a longing for something. I needed something in my life. In that period of time, I started to use drugs. I started to drink. I started to smoke weed. I started to steal. I started to hang around all the wrong people because my heart longed for something in my life, and it was that dad figure. In that time again, I heard God's voice again, and He said that I'm your father. And I heard it in a dream, and I was like, oh, it's just a dream. You know, that's not really nothing. But that longing never went away. So then I pushed away everybody from my family, because I thought that no one ever understood me. No one knew what I was going through with all the drugs and all this stuff. And this continued all the way through high school. In grade school, I used to get all straight A's and all of that. Once that divorce happened and all the drugs and that, everything started to slide downhill. Again, longing and searching for something. I was like, okay, I'm smarter than this. There's something out there better than this. I'm missing something, and I couldn't grab hold of it. So then it came to a point where I was really sad. I was depressed. I said, you know what? I don't even need to live anymore. The drugs ain't doing it. The alcohol ain't doing it. The girls ain't doing it. No offense, women, but you know, I'm in high school, okay? So that's, you know, nothing's doing it for me at this time. You know, so I kept hearing these voices. Something else said that I'm here. Just come to me. Okay, I hear that, blah, 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 but I'm still feeling what I'm feeling. I'm still going through what I'm going through. My dad is still tripping. And then my parents started to re-talk again, rekindle the relationship, which made me even more angry, which made me more stay away from the house, get into the drugs more. Then fast forward years later, I'm a senior in high school, playing baseball. I'm on the All-American St. Louis team, traveling team, doing really well, still doing my drugs, still hurting, still in pain. I used baseball to try to cover the pain. Didn't really work, but it came to a point where I did come to realization that I do need something. I do need something. We had this one kid on the baseball team named George, and I'll never forget George. George would always say, Eric, there is a God out there that would help you through everything. And I was like, okay, well, if there's a God, and I knew there was a God, I was like, this God is not dealing with me right now because look at all the stuff that I'm into, you know? And he would just keep pushing that in my head. So then I was getting ready to graduate. I barely made it through high school, doing well, thought I was gonna get this scholarship, didn't get it. Again, like I back up a little bit, like I said, my parents started to rekindle their relationship, found out they were gonna remarry. And I was like, what? You're gonna remarry this dude that committed adultery? Wasn't feeling that. Then again, heard God's voice. Eric, I'm here for you. Call upon me and I will speak to you and I will tell you. So I said, okay, I'm gonna listen to this voice this time. So I just sat down in a room one day and I just, okay, God, if you're really, really God and you say who you are, you tell me what to do. And I heard, go talk to your father. I was like, okay, that ain't God. But I heard it again, go talk to your father. I went to talk to my father. And my father sat down with me. And he began to explain everything that went on leading up to the adultery. Me finding out that there was a bigger picture than just him committing adultery. Doesn't make what he did was right, because it was totally wrong. But I seen a bigger picture. So our relationship started to rekindle. And I know I'm jumping all over the place. My testimony could take about 3 hours, and I only got a few minutes, so I'm trying to give you some bullet points. In all of that, the drugs didn't stop, the drinking didn't stop. Graduated from high school, didn't get the scholarship I wanted, got a partial scholarship to go to the University of Southern Louisiana in Lafayette to play baseball. I was like, nah, I don't want to play there. Went off on my own, went to the recruiter, signed the papers, joined the United States Navy. In the Navy, spent 10 years in the Navy, still did my drugs. Actually, the drug use got worse. I started to do meth when I was in the United States Navy. Did meth every day. Got to a point I started to sell meth in the United States Navy, meth and weed, me and a few friends. Came to a point where still hearing the voices, still hearing Eric, come to me, come to me. Came to a point where we were going on a deployment, on a 6-month deployment, going overseas. So I had to get all my supplies together. I had to get my meth together. I had a 1/4 pound of weed broken down in nickel bags. I don't know if you guys know what nickel bags are. And that's what I sold. That's what I sold out when I was in the Navy, you know, out at sea, because you know you're out there for 6 months. So coming through the back gate, 32nd Street, San Diego, going through the back gate. This time they had the dogs out. So I'm coming there, I had my duffel bag, and I got about 5 ounces of meth and a 1/2 pound of weed. Coming through the back gate. The dogs hit on my bag. And they 4 of us in a taxi cab, they pull us out, pull all our bags out, run the dogs by, the dogs get on my bag, and just start going crazy, start going in circles and barking. And the police officer's like, whose bag is this? No one said nothing. He said again, whose bag is this? I need to know now. No one said nothing. I heard the voice again. Say it's your bag, Eric. I looked at my buddy, I was like, dude, should I run? He's like, nope, don't run. Say it's your bag, Eric. I said, it's my bag, sir. He said, okay, we need to check your bag. I was like, okay, should I run? Running is all in my mind. That's all I'm thinking about right now. But I kept hearing the voice. And the voice was saying, no. Come to me, seek me, and I will give you direction. Police officer put up took up the bag, took everything out of my bag. You know, when you're going out to sea, you bring all your snacks, your food, you know, you bring all kind of stuff. You're out there for 6 months. So I had the weed and the meth rolled up in like 3 or 4 pairs of blue jeans in these big Ziploc bags. So he opened the bag, he picked up the jeans. My heart is pounding. I said, dude, I'm about to run. I was talking to, his name was Tim. I said, Tim, I'm about to run, dude. I'm not going to jail. I can't do jail. And he said, do what you gotta do, dude. And I heard the voice says, don't run. Don't run. It's like these 2 voices talking in my head, and it said, don't run. Officer literally picks up the jeans, sets it on top of 3 pairs of jeans, sets it on top of the police car, goes through my bag, never unrolls the jeans. If he just did like that, drugs and weed would have went everywhere. You know what I mean? So he did that, went through the bag. I had a lot of food in there because when you're out at sea, I had like sardines, Vienna sausages, because when a ship's store runs out, you make a lot of money by selling food. I had boxes of cupcakes, stuff like that. So he said, well, maybe they alerted on the food. The police picks the drugs back up, never unrolls the pants, puts it back into the duffel bag, and said, you go. He said, you can go. At that point, I heard the Lord say, I told you I would take care of you. Get rid of the drugs. Get rid of the drugs. I got back in the taxi cab. They drove us to the ship. Did I get rid of the drugs? No. No, I did not. Heard God's voice clearly say to get rid of those drugs. And that he was watching out and taking care of me. For a reason. Got to the ship, sold the drugs, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward 6 months, we came back. Another case with the drugs. Meth was really, really heavy back then in the late 80s. Selling out of my apartment, one of the ship officers, and one of the ship's officers was doing meth, came to get some meth from me. Came back probably about 6 or 7 times that day. 8 o'clock at night, I remember it was about 8:05, his daughter called me, and his daughter was only 9 years old, and said, Mr. Eric, could you let my daddy come home? I know he's at your house doing that stuff. 9 years old, I got a call from a little girl about her daddy doing drugs. At that point, I heard another voice again. Trust in me, Eric. Come seek me, and I will get you through all of this. At that point, right then and there, something clicked to me with that little girl calling me, that I said no more. I took all of my drugs, I took all of my meth, I took all of my money. Well, not the money part, but the meth was the money. And I flushed it all down the toilet. I had people mad at me, my boys was mad at me, they was hating on me, they was like, dude, you ain't hearing, you hearing something crazy. You hearing from the devil or something to throw away all of this. All of that to say is that through that period of time, remember I started from 5 years old from hearing God's voice. God speaks to every single one of you guys, whether you believe it or not, no matter what situation you're in. Look at my situation. It was funky. It was terrible. You know, and I haven't even told you the hard parts. These are just the mediocre parts about it, you know. He was through there through the whole time. I could have spent my whole life in military. There's no probation. When you go to Fort Leavenworth, you spend the whole time there. So distribution of a half a pound of weed and about 6 ounces of meth, that probably was about 60 years for me if I would have got caught. Distribution, because I had it broken all down, so I can't say it was for personal use. Everything was broken down. Again, God is in every part of your life, no matter what you're going through. This drug thing is a really huge thing that's going on in this world today, especially with the legalization of marijuana and things like that. You know, I tell some of my other classes that I teach that, you know, that we think, okay, well, weed is nothing but it's legal now, it's cool now. If it's so legal, it's so cool, why is it that when you go sign up for a job, still drug screen? And when you get that job, if you high well, I know meth is not legal, but on weed, no, you won't. This drug thing is, anything that's mind altering is not good for you. I had a long discussion with someone Friday, and the discussion was that there's no accounted deaths of marijuana use. Yes, there is. Just because the coroner says that the death isn't by marijuana, I know people who die from car accidents for being high. I know people who die for fighting for being high. I know people who die for trying to sell their weed. So marijuana has consequences behind it. And it's the choices that we have to make. You know, and I know it's our choice, but I encourage you guys to listen to them voices, because I know for a fact that we hear things and we know right from wrong. And I'm not, no judgment against anybody. Who am I to judge? Look at all the stuff that I've been and done and went through, you know. But I'm saying all this because I want you guys to not experience the things that I experienced, the bad things, when you have so much ahead of you in your life. There's so much you can do. There's a promise in each and every one of you. God has a calling on everybody's life in this room. It's just whether we tap into it or not. And whether we listen to the voice that's leading us down the right path. And yes, we're going to make mistakes, but even through those mistakes, He's there. I'm living proof of it. Through all of those mistakes, He's there. And He always will be there. He's your biggest fan to try to get you where you need to be in life. I had a couple friends that come up here, and both of them are pastors. One's a CHP officer, and one's a doctor. And they have a really extensive life that they went through too. They're my accountability partners. Have someone in your corner that you're accountable to. Someone that you can talk to, that you can share with, that's mature enough to understand what's going on in your life, to help you out through these times. One thing that we all need somebody. God put us on this earth not to be on an island by ourselves, but to help each other. Iron sharpening iron, that's what the Bible calls it. And we help each other, and we build each other, and we strengthen each other to help each other out through life's instances. Through those times I just talked about, I had many people that helped me out. You know, even some of the guys today that I dealt drugs with back in the day are my good friends now. Now, it had to be a time where I separated for them until also their life started to line up into the same way that my life lined up. They're not doing what they used to do now. Now we're on the same page. But it had to be a point of separation, and it had to be a point where I was able and willing, not willing, but able and strong enough to go back to minister to those people and let them know. People tell you these things not because they want to be in control. I tell you these things because I love. God has given me a gift to love on people like never before, and that is my gift to love. And information is love. Helping people is love. Caring for people is love. No matter, even if I tell you something that might be hurtful and hard, it's because I love you guys that I want you guys to see the big picture in life. I know a lot of people throw the God thing at you and throw the Bible at you, but it doesn't have to be that way. All I want to do is love upon you guys and want you guys to have a spark of hope. That spark of hope can open up so much in your lives to a better path, a better way, and a better understanding of life as a whole that you don't even realize right now. You guys got a team of wonderful people here. Let me back up. I don't go teach classes everywhere that I don't see places that have something. This place here, this Cloud and Fire place, it has something. I teach it been at almost all the youth builds. Am I telling the truth, Mary? Almost all the youth builds. This place here has something. Get something from this place. All these people you guys got here, they care. And they want the best for you guys. And they're willing to pour into your lives to help. Listen to them. I prayed before I even started to come teach here. I was like, God, don't send me no place that I can't do any good work, or they're not doing any good work, or I can't help them do any good work. And He told me to come to this place. And that's why I was so adamant with Dion and Miss Rossi about, I got to get in here. Because this place is doing the work. Trust this place, guys. Like I say, my testimony, it can go on for hours. I can tell you stories, but if you guys see me, if you have any conversations you want to have with me, I'm open. I'm open to talk about anything. And I just want to let you guys know that I believe in you guys because God believed in me. And I can see the potential in each and every one of you. I really can. I know that might sound cliche or so funny, but literally I can see spiritually the potential in every one of you because God has put His potential in every one of you. So I know I'm probably over my time, but I really want to thank you guys for listening to me. I hope something spark. I hope something will resonate within you to help you for your path and your journey in life. And just believe when I say that I love you guys, because I really do. Right?